As the wind erodes and the water corrodes, altering everything we think we know, but we don't. It's all temporary, and it used to, but now the thought doesn't scare me or keep my feet from following one after another until I slumber. Then my mind, not my feet, wander and dream of people and places I'll never see again. I've mended as much mental anguish as I can, and now I try to use this language to take these thoughts from my head to my pen. Cause though I don't speak of my dead friends or the circumstances, often the blow never softens or yields. I'm in a desolate field, lonesome stargazing, night blazing, chasing traces of remembrance and reverence of relevant friends and acquaintances and faceless and nameless names and faces. While my mind is racing through these photo albums and quotations, all these people and places far from me, for only land and stars I see when I'm outside of the Mile High City, which is not my city, for I was born 1,000 miles northeast of there, in the land of beer and lakes and pistol fire on MLK's birthday, where there is no minorities and segregation's mandatory. But that's a whole nother story altogether, and no matter the weather or hardships that any place brings, I'll still laugh when people shiver and say it's freezing, or say, hey, no, wait, I already had 18 mixed drinks, but I guess it's a Midwest thing, and I'm a mess from a dirty city and brought most of this filth I've gathered with me.
Welcome to another episode of Experience Andy Weins Live. This week, we're going to dive into you and how you are getting in your own way to succeed in where you want to go in this life. That is correct. Getting out of your own way so that you can get where you're going. We're going to be covering that coming up in the verse.
My work labors on as lovers sleep in each other's arms, remaining calm and collect. I begin my self-reflection process of redemption. Honestly, I don't know where this road leads, or if I'm even going. Could be rowing upstream, or worse, chasing my dreams to the peak, to finally be somebody doing something with what I have, rather than saying again and again that I can't and I won't anymore from this day forward. Cause Lord knows the past is set in stone, the present is yours to mold and to use for future uses. I know I'm a nuisance, I'm told, except neither young nor old, nor giant nor gnome. I don't sleep on these streets usually, though I've made thrones of my own. I don't sit well with idle hands, though don't know what to do when I'm home all alone. I'm a menace thrown from society, and as it lies to me, I'll smile silently as others do as they please. I am watching and listening, and I'm grinning all the while. 'Cause sometimes all you can really do is smile. So as the work labors on, I'll keep on singing my songs, and this day's never done. We just keep on spinning around that sun. And well, through all these miles and trials, all I've learned to do is smile. Is to smile.
Welcome to another episode of Experience Andy Weins Live, our opportunity every week to dive into one topic about letting and allowing you to get where you want to go in this world. It all starts with those I statements. We've been focusing on those the last couple of weeks, and today we're going to be jumping right back into the importance of those I statements so that you, we can get out of our own way. First, though, moment of gratitude. Every show I like to start off with a moment of gratitude so that I continually focus on what I am grateful for. I've been doing this exercise for the past year, and what I've realized is the more I focus on gratitude, the more I look for gratitude in the world. And have I, in the case that I go in the entire week without expressing gratitude, I know once in my week I take a minute to stop and focus on what I'm grateful for. So today I'm focusing on the Titan 100. Titan 100, I'm rocking my Titan 100 coffee cup. I got a couple weeks ago in Chicago. Titan 100 is a community. There's 9 different communities across the countries and geographic areas where there's the top CEOs that come together to share ideas and build a business community within within a metropolitan area. And 3 years ago was the first year of Titan. I applied. I did not make it. 2 years ago, I did make it. Last year, I made it. And this year, I'm on the path to becoming a Titan Hall of Fame member 3 years in a row. Now, I haven't yet applied. I will be applying later this year, and I'm really excited for the opportunity to continue on this path within the Titan 100 community. And I'm grateful for it because it brings together the top people in their industries in an area. And I end up connecting with people that I otherwise would not interact with. And so today I had lunch with a gentleman, Patrick Booth. As everybody's seen, we're both on the Titan board together. Years ago, we were at a networking event. We kind of passed each other. We know who each other are. And now today we spent 2 hours really getting to know each other. What does it mean to be a business owner, a man, a father, a significant other? And we really got to pull back those layers. And it's because of the insight that Titan had by saying, hey, let's bring together people that otherwise wouldn't cross paths and build this ecosystem of business leaders in the area. So I'm very grateful for that because it allows me to focus on the best parts of business, that those relationships. My mom always stresses that to me. It's all about people. It's all about relationships. And I get caught up in the rat race often. And I forget about the fact that it is about those relationships and adapting and over time and building with other individuals. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for the opportunity I've had with Titan 100 over the last 2 years. And I'm looking forward to a lifetime of relationships because of that community. Second order of business, I'd say paying the bills. It's really the more transactional side of what I do here. I stand in front of you every week doing this podcast as an opportunity for me to continue to develop my thought leadership and also get more speaking gigs in the future so I can do more workshops here locally and across the country. And so this week is real simple. I want to hear from you. What is it I've said in the past that you want me to dig deeper on? What is it that I've said you don't agree with me on and you want to argue with me on? Talk to me. Tell me what resonates with you, the audience. The more workshops I do, the more shows I do, the more impact I have. And also the more I really start doubting myself and questioning, really, is what I'm saying consistent across the board? When I wrote my book, I said my book is 85% accurate, 15% inaccurate. I don't know what the 15% is until I put it out into the world and I start having conversations. And so that's no different than here. I stand here in front of you every week on this pulpit of righteousness, preaching, and sometimes I get it wrong. And I want to know from you, what am I talking about that is not systematic, thorough, sustainable, repeatable? What's wrong? So let's have that conversation. Reach out to me. LinkedIn, Facebook, and my phone number is available on LinkedIn. I am not a difficult guy to get a hold of. So I want to hear from you from the audience. What is it resonates with you? What is it you really enjoy? What is it you want me to stop talking about or you think I'm wrong about so that we can address that? And I might be wrong. What can I learn? How can I evolve and adapt over time? All right. That's actually a really good transition to what we're going to talk about today. Getting out of our own way. Recently, there's 2 situations I'm working through, one in my personal life, one in my business life with people that are relatively close to me. And what I'm realizing is a lot of people get in their own way. They want to do something, and yet the ceiling for them getting there is their own self-limiting beliefs. It's their own self-importance. There's something within them that's preventing them from moving forward. And I think about what Jordan Peterson talks about. Jordan Peterson says, you want something in this world, sit on the edge of your bed, sit there and really think, what do I want in this world? Once you decide what you want in this world, how do I get that? Okay, here's the performance steps. And what am I doing that's preventing me from having that? And almost every answer, ladies and gentlemen, is going to come down to you. You are the problem. And it's no different than me. Last week, I sat with my Vistage CEO roundtable, scrubbing what does my future look like? What is preventing me from becoming the speaker that I want to become? And it's some of my own limiting self-beliefs. It's some of the fear I have, some scarcity mindset. I stand here in front of you talking about an abundance mindset, and yet I'm living a scarcity life often. I'm doing $10 tasks when there's a clear $500 task right in front of me that only I can perform, and I'm choosing to take the comfort level versus the discomfort of doing something new. I'm getting in my own way because of this wounded inner child within me that says, I'm not good enough. And I'm living a life in some days and ways comfortable. And for me, that's getting in my own way. My own way of saying, okay, I got all these things, I've achieved all this, and now I don't want to lose it, right? That when I first started in business, I had nothing to lose, right? And so I was naive. And because of that naivety, I took chances, I took risks. And now I have something to lose. I have a great business. I have a great business partner. I have a big building. I have all these things going for me. And now all of a sudden I want to play it safe because I risk losing what I've built versus saying, okay, I already got it. Win, lose, or draw. This is our chance to continue taking risks. And so the reminder I give myself that moment I have is for me to remind myself my battle cry this year. Who am I becoming? And so I insert that, I answer that question, and then it's very obvious to me where I'm going and what the best decision is moving forward. I take that time. Going back to what I was saying with these two people I'm working with, one of them is in a relationship that's failing. It is falling apart in front of their own eyes. And we were having a conversation earlier today, and she told me what she wants. Well, this is what I want. And I thought, oh, this is tough because she wants something that's not real. And so I go back to those 6 most powerful sentences. The last couple of weeks I've been talking about how alphabetically they're also chronologically in order. So let's remember, I am, I can, I feel, I know, I want, I will. The challenge is what she knows and what she wants are inconsistent. What she wants is her husband to stay with her. And yet she knows that he doesn't want to be in a relationship. So every other want thereafter is insignificant because of what she knows. Her desires, her wants are getting in the way of where she is already going. And this morning we were having a conversation, and all of a sudden that dawned on her. What she wants is insignificant because she knows that what she wants is tied to a second person that doesn't want that same thing. There's a misalignment. And all of a sudden, those next decisions became very, very clear. What other things can she do today to protect herself as she's looking at this new reality? Because for 15 years, it was one reality. And now she knows there's new information that has painted a different reality. She has got herself in the way because she thinks of him in a certain light. I talk about it often in our business. We don't pay people to think around here. We pay people to know things. What research can you do? What information do you have available so you no longer are thinking, you are now knowing? It goes back to that adage of sitting on the edge of your bed. When you imagine this life you want, and then you take the time to reflect, to realize in anticipation of regulating your decisions, deep down, you know what's holding you back. Are you willing to peel back those layers and see what is preventing you? And once you're aware of it, okay, you got a predisposition. Everybody has a wounded inner child. Everybody has a hurt in their past life. Everybody has something that is stopping them from moving forward. What are you going to do about it? What are you willing to do? That's the 6th most powerful sentence. What will you do to overcome it? Earlier today, I had a conversation with my doctor. I get my labs done, and I had labs done this year, and we're talking about it. And they said, I have a predisposition to high cholesterol, right? You're supposed to have a 3. I have a 2, which means both my parents gave me the predisposition for high cholesterol. I can sit here and say, well, I'm going to have high cholesterol and blood clots and everything associated with it because woe is me. I have something genetic within me that I have no control over. Look at me, the victim of my circumstance. Woe is me, hear me cry. Or I can say, okay, I now know that I have high cholesterol and I want to eat cheese. That's a fact of the matter, ladies and gentlemen. I love cheese. I want to eat it. And I also know it's going to cause me high cholesterol, higher than other people because of a predisposition, genetic, that I had no say in the matter. So now what am I willing to do? I want to eat cheese. I also want to live a long life. So am I willing to give up things like delicious, delicious cheese? Am I willing to cut back? Am I willing to change my diet? Am I willing to go on a medication? Am I willing to exercise more? What am I willing to do? I also want to live a long life. So what am I now willing to do now that I know this information? Because I could say, well, I have high cholesterol and that's nothing, I have no control over it. And I'm going to eat cheese. And then when I die young or I start to have heart issue or health issues earlier, right, than typical, I'm the one that created that. I got in my own way. I had information available to me that would allow me to move forward in the direction I want to go. And I chose every night to eat my cheese. And I'm going to be faced with that decision later today when I go home and have dinner and I love dessert cheese. What am I willing to sacrifice to get what I want in life? It's a very simple matter with a very high stakes outcome potential. All comes down to that willingness. And I've looked into it. Is it the ego? Is the id? What is it causing all of these things? And we can research and define it. The challenge I've seen there, myself included, is once I label something like, oh, I have ADHD, I have PTSD, I have a predisposition for cholesterol, I often will then use that as an excuse for my poor behavior. And other people are no different. The less time I focus on the problem, the more time I focus on the solutions, the more solutions oriented I get it. And now I can focus on where I'm going, not where I've been. I can focus on what I can control versus what I can't control. And this is no different for anybody else here in this audience. You know, deep down, you know what you got going on. What do you want? Do you want to use that as an excuse, or do you want to use it as the foundation to build the house that you're going to build, this life that you want to live? The other situation I've been faced with recently is with a new employee. And this new employee has a lot of self-limiting beliefs. They're young, they're immature, this is their first real career. And they're using that as an excuse for not leaning into the discomfort. It's true. Okay, this is the first job out of college. Got it. College didn't teach you this thing. Great. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit back and complain about college? Are you going to sit back and say, I'm too hard of a person to work for? Great. You got two options right here. You grow up or you grow out. You want comfort? Great. There's a lot of places that are a hell of a lot more comfortable than working for our organization. A hell of a lot of places that are more comfortable than getting a real job, right? College is relatively comfortable. High school is even more comfortable. The real world, it's a contact sport. It is uncomfortable. You're going to get punched in the face every single day. It's your choice how you respond to those situations. The advice that my business partner gave this person was to get over yourself. And I had to look that up. I've heard that before. And I thought, what does it even mean, get over yourself? And so I Googled it because that's the way I live my life. And it says an informal phrase meaning to stop being overly self-important, self-centered, or sensitive, and to move on from a situation or a negative attitude. So simple. Get over yourself. Yourself is getting you in the way of going where you want to go. It's no different than me. Get over myself. Okay, Andy, you have a predisposition to high cholesterol. You got the ADHD. You got the PTSD. Get over it. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to live in this world of victimhood because of my circumstance? Or am I going to take that information and become the victor of my story? When I reflect every night, I make a point to reflect, whether I'm driving home. Typically when I'm driving home, that's when I do my reflections for the day. Sometimes I do it at the edge of my bed. It's a great practice that Jordan Peterson talks about. When I reflect and when I'm honest with myself, I know why I'm not where I want to be in this world. And I know what I can control. I choose to get over myself. I choose to fight through my fear. What you want is on the other side of fear. The choice is, what are you willing to do? What information are you willing to collect so that you know? When it comes to language, people say, I'm thinking, I'm talking, I'm trying. Whenever I hear the term I think, I put the big time out. What do you mean you think? What data do you have to support that? Often people won't have the data. They're merely conjuring up something that they thought about, and it's limiting them from moving forward to where they want to be. So this week, catch yourself. Whenever you start a sentence with you or I think, you're going to start a new limiting self-belief. And the more and more you feed that wolf of scarcity, of hate, of insecurity, the more you feed it, the more alive it becomes within you. The key is to feed the wolf of abundance and love. Talk about all the great things that you are. Talk about all the information that you know to be true. Then make your list of things that you want. When I do my 4-hour exercise, my 4-hour workshop on the language of leaders, I want is one of the last exercise we do. Because we've already talked about who we are, how we feel, what we're capable of doing, what do we know, and then we focus on what do you want? And then finally, what are you willing to do? What are those SMART goals? Singular, measurable, attainable, relevant, time bound. What are those SMART goals so that you can get what you want in this world? And once you do that exercise, you'll start to see what your priorities are. I guarantee your priorities from the beginning to the end are going to change because all of a sudden you're saying, "Oh, I'm not willing to sacrifice that." Okay. Your want ain't great enough. You want comfort over discomfort. You want security over adventure. And there's no right answer. The wrong answer is when you don't know, when you don't do the work to look into yourself to figure out what it is you know about yourself. And then your wants will become very clear. And what you're willing to do will become very obvious to you. Get out of your own way, ladies and gentlemen. That's the key. Sit on the edge of your bed, reflect on a life that you want. What are you willing to do to get that life that you want based on the known data, based on how you're feeling, what you're capable of, what you can do, based on who you are? That's why I am is the most powerful statement. And that's where it all begins again. Because once you say what you're willing to do, your I am statement is the affirmation for the person you are. I am smarter than this self-limiting belief. I am more capable than this physical, mental, emotional condition I've been diagnosed with. I am stronger than my addiction. And these are the things I'm willing to do, ladies and gentlemen. When you make those declarations, you will start to get over yourself. Do that fucking thing. Tell the fucking world who you are and where you're going. And finally, show the fuck up for yourself. That's who you're showing up for every day. Show up for yourself. Face it while you make it. And let's hope you never make it. Let's hope to your dying breath, you're continuing to face reality for what it is. You're continuing to push yourself to be better than you were the day before. Do that, ladies and gentlemen. You will live the life you've always wanted by getting yourself out of your own way. We'll see you next week.
Through all these miles and trials, all I've learned to do is smile. Is to smile.